There's a moment in every political scandal where the question isn't what happened. It's how the person in power responds when they're cornered. And when Donald Trumper was confronted with questions about a racist video attacking the Obamas that appeared on his social media, the response told us more than the video itself ever could, because this wasn't just an excuse, it was a pattern.
Go ahead.
Well, a number of people in your base say that they want to see all illegal immigrants deported, even ones who are otherwise
Let me tell you about my
non-violent.
base. Let me tell you about my base. My base has never been stronger. My base is me and other very good people, people that love our country. And if you talk about my base or the MAGA base, you could call it a lot of America First base. They couldn't be more thrilled. We have crime down to the lowest level that it's been in 125 years. We have a border that's totally closed. We have all the things that our base wanted, and we have the best economy in history. Prices are down. We inherited very high prices and the highest inflation in the history of our country. Think of it, the highest or 48 years. Some people say 48 years, but I'll take either one. So my base is very happy.
But would you support mass deportations of people who are otherwise law-abiding?
I see everybody, but we're focusing on the criminals. We're focusing on killers. We're focusing, but ultimately, they all broke the law. Some can, if they do it in a certain way, they can go out. They can come back if they do it properly. But as you know, a lot of people have been deported, a lot. But the focus is on the murderers, the drug dealers. We have many people mentally insane. They dumped everything in our country. But ultimately, yeah, it's exactly as I said during the campaign. Yeah.
Mr. President, can you set the record straight? There are reports circulating that you told Chuck Schumer that in order to restore funding for the Gateway train tunnel in New York, New Jersey, you would want Penn Station and Dulles Airport to be named after you. Is that true?
He suggested that to me. Chuck Schumer suggested that to me about changing the name of Penn Station to Trump Station. Dulles Airport is really separate. Dulles Airport is really not too involved with Congress. That's a separate kind of a deal, as you know. But it was suggested to me by numerous people, unions, Democrats, Republicans, a lot of people suggested. Nothing's been done on that.
President, you frequently criticize Joe Biden for not knowing what is going on in his name. This racist video that was posted on your social media.
I'm a hell of a lot better than you do. You don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. No, Joe Biden didn't have a clue, but we know everything. And when you look at what's happening with our economy, and think of it, we're way years ahead of schedule. We have thousands and thousands of businesses being built right now. So Joe Biden had no clue. If Joe Biden were elected or if Kamala were elected, we wouldn't have a country right now.
You won the election because of minority voters. Does this post maybe hurt Republicans with, black voters after the...
I think, look, we did criminal justice reform. I did the historically black colleges and universities. I got them funded. Nobody has been, and that's why I got the highest vote with male black voters that they've seen in many, many decades. I've done great with the black voters. Have been great to me. I've been great to them. Black voters have been great to me. I've been great to them. And I am, by the way, the least racist president you've had in a long time, as far as I'm concerned. We have, I've had a great relation. Think of what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Nobody else could do it. Obama couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Clinton couldn't do it. They actually went the other way. They went into a very bad thing for African-American people, black people. They did very bad things. I did very good things. But criminal justice reform, and then I funded the universities, which nobody else was willing to do. They were going every year. They'd come back to Washington and they'd be begging for money, begging. I got to be friendly with some of the heads of the schools, and they would come back and they would literally tell me they're forcing us to beg. I'm the one that got them long-term financing and more than they were looking for. So there's nobody that's done more. And I think maybe more than anything else was criminal justice reform. They've been trying to get it for years, and I'm the one that got it done. So nobody can tell me about that. That somebody posts, a staffer, posts, and I knew it was all about. If you take a look at that and see the whole thing, it was a small section at the very end, but that was about fraudulent elections, which we have a lot of them. We're going to get it stopped. And I liked the beginning. I saw it and just passed it on. And I guess probably nobody reviewed the end of it, because what I saw at the beginning was really, really strong. It was about fraudulent elections. And anytime I see that stuff, and when it's credible, you put it up. But somebody slipped and missed a very small part. Now, by the way, again, a takeoff on, I guess, I didn't do it, by the way. This was done by somebody else. This was a retruth. That was not done by us. But that was a very strong truth. It was a very strong statement made about the fraudulent elections in a certain part of our country, which are really bad.
Mr. President, you promised Savannah Guthrie's family the full support of federal law enforcement.
Well,
FBI is now...
I'll give you a little statement. I think we're doing very well on that regard. You're probably surprised to hear that. I think we're doing very well. Very well, meaning we have some clues, I think, that are very strong. And I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Is this a nationwide search? Is this a search going to Mexico?
I'm not talking about a search. I'm talking about a solution. We have some things I think that will maybe come out reasonably soon from DOJ or FBI or whoever that could be
Suspect?
Yeah, could be definitive.
Trump was given multiple opportunities to do the simplest thing a leader can do: acknowledge harm and take responsibility. Instead, he chose denial layered on top of distraction. His first move was strategic misdirection. Rather than addressing the content of the video, he immediately pivoted to foreign policy, the stock market, gas prices, border security, and crime statistics. This wasn't random. It was deliberate. When you overwhelm the room with unrelated achievements, you blur accountability. Then came the distancing language. Trump said he only saw the beginning of the post. He claimed it focused on voter fraud and that the offensive imagery was at the very end. According to him, a staffer reposted it without reviewing everything. But this explanation collapses under its own weight. Trump routinely attacks other leaders for not knowing what happens under their authority. He frames ignorance as incompetence. Yet here, ignorance suddenly became an acceptable excuse because it benefited him. That contradiction is the story. When asked if he would apologize, Trump didn't hesitate. He said no, not because the content was misunderstood, but because he insisted there was no mistake. That's a refusal to engage with impact. Instead of condemning the message outright, Trump reframed the controversy as media exaggeration. He minimized the racist elements as parody. He suggested the outrage was manufactured, and when that didn't work, he escalated emotionally, attacking the press, belittling reporters, and reaffirming loyalty to his base. This is how accountability gets neutralized. You don't refute the accusation, you change the battlefield. When asked whether the post could alienate black voters, Trump defaulted to a familiar defense: criminal justice reform, funding for HBCUs, claims of historic support. He positioned past actions as immunity against present criticism. But leadership isn't a punch card. You don't earn permanent absolution. The most revealing moment came when Trump finally said he condemned the racist parts of the video, but only after prolonged pressure, and only briefly, before pivoting again to economic bragging. That's not ownership, that's containment. And here's why this matters beyond one clip. When a leader refuses to sit in discomfort, refuses to acknowledge harm without deflection, it sends a signal, not just to supporters, but to staffers, allies, and institutions. Avoid accountability, and you'll be protected. That's the pattern. This wasn't just a bad post, it was a test of responsibility, and the response failed it. If you think leadership means owning mistakes, if you believe intent doesn't erase impact, and if you're tired of deflection being treated as strength, then stay engaged, like the video. Subscribe for real political analysis, and tell me in the comments, was this ignorance or was it calculated denial?